Thank you very much, President Trichet. If any of you thought that the interest rates were an issue, now you understand that they are a very difficult issue. Please, Salvador Barbera, if you can run the questioning from the floor.
President Trichet is willing to entertain a few questions. We'll ask the journalists to be patient for a minute. And yes, Albert, Marcet, do you want to start?
So I don't know if this is a touchy issue, but so you can say it's a touchy issue and then we move on. But one of the
there is no touchy question, only touchy response. So
okay. So my question is if you can comment if it's a big concern, not only these issues you mentioned on the effects on prices in the European area, but it's also, if it concerns you, the changes in the interest rate differential with the US. Lately we've seen some very sudden changes in the difference between the interest rate here and there. These are worrisome. No? These could lead to a very big change in expected appreciation of the currency, indirectly a very big change in the stock returns of Europe versus from the point of view of foreigners. How is this an issue that you're concerned? Is this an issue that
it's a good question. I respond to the question. So I would say that we all have our responsibilities. We all have our responsibility within the context of our own economies. When I say we, I mean the central banks, particularly, of course, in the industrialized world, but not only. But I mean across the Atlantic, across the Channel, across the Pacific. As you know better than anybody, we never had the same level of interest rates. We certainly have not that same level today, but it was not the case yesterday and the day before. And we are, I trust, doing what is necessary, each of us in our own environment, and these environments are very different. The challenges are different, the shocks are different. We are doing what is necessary to deliver price stability. And that's the reason why the interest rates are not the same in Sweden, in England, in the US, in the euro area, and in again in all the economies that I was mentioning. So I take it that we are doing what is necessary ourselves for ensuring price stability, and I take it that taking into account their own environment, taking into account their own shocks, and taking into account their own responsibility to anchor inflationary expectations, colleagues across the Channel, across the Atlantic, are doing what is deemed by the situation. You might remember that when we had the first signs that the market correction that was ongoing engaged in turbulent episodes, and it was in August. It was very precisely, in our case, August 9th. We said from the very beginning that we were making the difference between the primary goal of this institution, the ECB, which is to deliver price stability, be credible in the delivery of price stability, anchor inflationary expectations, which is not only our mandate, but, by the way, a decisive contribution for growth and job creation in the euro area. And once we had decided upon the level of interest rates which was in line and right for delivering medium-term price stability, then we had to, in our opinion, in our judgment, to pave the way for an orderly as possible and as smooth as possible functioning of the money market through our own instruments, and particularly, of course, taking into account the influence we have on the shortest segment of the money market. So very, very strict difference between what is necessary to deliver price stability, anchor inflationary expectations, and then what is necessary. In both cases, we have the feeling in the Governing Council of the ECB that we contribute very importantly, I would say, not only to sustainable growth and job creation in the medium and long run, but also to confidence, because you can at least have two anchors on which you can count. You can count on the inflation expectations that are anchored because we are there to care for their anchoring, and you can count also that the money market in the shortest segment of the money market would have a central bank which would be there. As you have seen, we have cooperated, I have to say, efficiently and actively with the friends across the Atlantic when we decided to have a swap agreement and to contribute to delivering liquidity in dollar also on this side of the Atlantic. It had an important impact, I trust, this accord we had with the Fed, and also with the Swiss National Bank, also with the British National Central Bank, as well as the Canadian. It had a big impact, I think. On the interest rate, I would say we all are anchoring inflation expectations, and that is the way we contribute, if I may, together. But we do not have necessarily the same level of interest rates. It's never been the case in the past as a principle, and it has no reason to be the case in the future, it seems to me. We all are doing our job. And if we were not doing our job ourselves, what would happen? We would unanchor inflation expectations. What would be the consequence? All the interest rates, market interest rates, medium and long term, would augment because the inflation expectations would augment in the euro area. So will it be a good contribution for sustainable growth and job creation, again, in a medium-long run perspective? Second, the volatility of the inflation expectations will also augment. The standard deviation of this inflation expectation would augment more or less considerably. Will it help in a period of financial turbulences? No. I trust that we are contributing all, because I take it that colleagues all over the world, again, taking into account their responsibility and their precise situation, the precise situation of their economy, and they are not alike, as everybody knows.